Welcome into today's broadcast right here at Cog Hill Farm. Now, Peaches wouldn't let Nugget into the house for this episode, so here's Jason, Brooke, and our chicken master, Marycarl.
What is up, everybody? This is another episode of the Cogcast podcast. I have no idea what episode
34,
this is. Is it 34, 34, 35?
I was thinking earlier, trying to remember what number. I think it's 34.
Ooh, let me close that window in the back. It's going to mess my light up. Hang on. Now that's better. The camera gets kind of
Cranky.
when it starts doing stuff like that.
That's what happened.
You think it's 34? I guess it might be 34. It's either 34 or 35.
Well, I was just going to act like I knew what I was talking about. Nobody's going to, go behind us and check or anything.
You say that.
I know. That's why I said that. Are you turning
that.
me down?
No, the whole system. I was turning the whole system down just a little bit. It was spiking a pretty good bit.
I thought you didn't want to hear me.
No, we're good. Oh, man, what a crazy few days we've had.
Well, first of all, Marycarl is not with us tonight.
Yes.
And reason being, she had some dental work done.
Mm-hmm.
She has been needing to have a couple of teeth pulled for quite some time because she has a very small mouth, and the mouth does not have room for the amount of teeth that we are given.
Right.
Therefore, she had been needing to have these teeth extracted for a long time. And we did not want to do it previously because she has had the autoimmune disease.
Right.
Well, if you've been paying attention, she has been released from her hematologist. I guess it's been about a year.
It's getting on close to a year. Yep.
And so we felt comfortable with the way her numbers are to have those teeth extracted. They were just pulled. They weren't cut. They were in their position where they needed to be. However, she did not have any room left for the rest of her permanent teeth to come in. And she wants to have her teeth straightened by braces. And in order to do that, the orthodontist said, we've got to take these two out. And they're actually the same ones that I had removed when I was about her age.
Ain't that something?
I had a very small mouth as well. And
that's crazy.
I had to have a little bit more extensive work done than she will.
Right.
But I did have to have those teeth taken out, and she had that done yesterday. She's fine, but she's not wanting to participate.
She didn't want to be in the podcast.
Yeah,
so
she's got
we're cool with it.
It's these two right here, right past your canine on both sides, and it'll just give the room for those second set of molars behind it to come in, and then in about 6 months you'll be looking at her with some braces on.
And she's kind of excited about the braces, I
Well,
think.
she wants her teeth to be straight.
Yeah.
She's, I wouldn't say self-conscious about it. She just knows that if she has the opportunity in her life to have a pretty smile and her teeth to be straight, then now's the time to do it.
Now's the time to do it. And
However, I wasn't her age when I had braces. I was a good bit older.
Yeah, they do braces young now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of her friends have already had theirs taken off.
Yeah, like Piper.
Yeah, she's already had them on and off.
That's crazy to me.
So
Now, I had a big overbite.
Mm-hmm.
And they started me on headgear in the 5th grade.
Wow.
And I started wearing a headgear in the 5th grade. And then I got braces in the 7th grade, and I got my braces taken off my senior year.
I got mine taken off my senior year right before my senior pictures. You
know what? Mine were off on my senior pictures now that I think about it.
But I had been wearing them probably from the 7th grade on.
Yeah.
And I had a device in the roof of my mouth that my parents turned with the key, and it actually widened my mouth.
That's crazy.
And it was not very comfortable. I leaned back every night, and they took that key and they cranked it, and it turned a metal device that widened my upper teeth.
Whew.
And I didn't speak too much about that when Marycarl was young because it was very uncomfortable for me to have that going across the bridge of my teeth. You know, you were very limited to what you could eat without it just getting gobs of food stuck up there. And she's got it made now. The teeth are out, and we haven't had any problems.
No problems. And she ate regular tonight.
Yeah, she ate. Actually, she ate some Butcher Box flank steak. Isn't that what it was called?
Yep. Some Butcher Box flank steak, and we made some fajitas, or you made some fajitas, but no we to it.
Well, and we used
our onions. Y'all, if you've been keeping up with us, you probably know how giddy and super excited I am about my onions.
I mean, just Look,
I've
at that.
never been able to
Look at
grow sweet onions before in my life. And this year I did it.
I mean, that's a massive onion.
It's pretty big. It's heavy. Now we got a bunch of them like this. I've had a lot of people say, like me, they were very unsuccessful at growing onions. What did I do different? The things I did different is number one, I started from seed and I got the correct onion for my area. We're short day, so I got short day onions. Here in the South, we have short days for the wintertime. But just Google it and a map will come up and it'll let you know what area you're in. Do you need a short, mid, or long day onion?
I never heard of such.
Yes. Used to when I grow onions, I'd buy the little slips wrapped in a rubber band that you got from the hardware store or the feed store. You don't know, I never knew what variety those things were. You don't know how old they are. I was never successful at growing those onions.
So where'd these come from?
These come from House. I got the seeds from House, and I started these in seed trays. Me and Marycarl did. And they were tiny seeds, and they made these tiny little seedlings that popped up.
I'm trying to remember what it was like when y'all planted them.
Was
that
a
what y'all
mess
poured
of
out
them.
in your hand, and it was a little teeny
They were
tiny
very
seed?
tiny seeds. They were really, really
That's
small.
hard to believe that
Yep.
that big giant onion came out of that
I
tiny
know.
seed.
I need to call Granddaddy and see how his are doing because I gave him the rest of them that I didn't plant.
Well, you know, when he called you this week and you
Yes.
weren't able to talk to him,
Yes.
maybe that's why.
And maybe that's why I need to call him back.
Maybe
Call him
he's
back when we get through the podcast.
no, he'll be in bed by
He
then.
will be in bed by then. So I was able to start whatever variety I wanted that Hoss had. To be honest with you guys, me and Marycarl are terrible at tagging our plants.
Oh, yes, they are. They have even bought this machine that's gonna. Jason, I thought something was after you, like a
No,
rat or something.
I was going to show him my
Oh.
label machine that I got.
I thought a rat was after you,
No,
tickling your toes or something. You got out of here.
My arm got caught on the
No, they bought
wire.
a label machine, but it hasn't been cranked up yet, to my knowledge.
Well, we hadn't really started any seedlings except tomatoes since that, so we hadn't really needed it yet. But those were some several things that I did wrong. If you plant them by seed, they don't get very big. The seedlings don't get very big before you plant them. So it's really hard to plant them too deep because that's another mistake people make is they plant them too deep. Because onions actually...
It's really hard to plant them too deep or easy?
Yeah, it's hard to plant them too deep when you start it.
So you need to plant them deep.
No, you don't want to plant them too deep. And that's why starting them by seed you won't make that mistake in my opinion.
Okay, I gotcha. Because you'll have that plug and...
Correct. And you can see... This is what's in the ground. This is on
That's
top of
pretty
the ground.
cool, isn't it?
And I don't think a lot of people know that's how onions work. And, I really didn't know that's how onions work.
You never see this part in a grocery store.
No, you never see the roots in no grocery store. So when this onion starts forming, and it'll be late. The bulb don't start forming till late. You want all this greenery to come up and start going because this is where it's going to get the energy to produce this big bulb. So once the bulb starts forming, it may be halfway in the ground or whatever. You want to start moving that dirt around away from it. But the rootstock you want to leave there. But just start moving that dirt around from that bulb because it'll suppress that bulb growth. And you don't want that. You want this sucker to get big like this.
Huh.
And so that's what I did this year. And it worked. It really worked.
That's a good-looking onion, if I do say so myself.
It is.
Now, I don't remember, did green come up off those seeds before y'all put them in the ground?
Yeah. It looks like a chive. It looks like a tiny
I think
onion.
I remember it
They're
then.
tiny. I'm telling you, when you see how small they are, you're going to think like I did, and that is, there's no way these things are going to produce anything because they are tiny.
How many seeds come in a pack?
Oh, gosh, probably 50. No, probably more than that. I have
So
to
there's
look.
no reason
Maybe
why you can't
100.
grow or try to grow onions.
Yeah.
What month did you start them in? Do you
That's
remember?
the other thing they used to do wrong is I would always plant them in the early spring. Can't do that in Alabama. We planted these in the 1st of November because onions don't like hot weather, and it gets hot here quick. We have
Sometimes in Thanksgiving we're wearing shorts.
exactly. So we actually had a longer. I could have typically the end of October, 1st November. Just watch your weather because they don't like super hot weather. Then they overwintered. They grew throughout the winter months. And here it is, the 1st of May, middle of May.
Yeah,
and we
that's
harvested them.
getting towards the end of the month.
Yep.
Wow. I'm just amazed.
I'm amazed too. I'm just shocked.
That is a really good size onion. I was thinking that we might get an onion about like that.
Little green onions. See, I've grown them. I've grown Egyptian walking onions, just your little old green onions, and I've grown them successfully. I've never been able to grow a big, sweet onion like this.
What's this one called? Do you remember?
Guys,
No.
I really don't. This is either a cougar or a Texas sweet. The difference is one's round. This is the round one. The other one's flat. So
Flat?
it's kind of like you smushed it a little bit.
Did they come up?
Yes, I got it. They're big too.
And do they taste the same or are they tasting different?
I'm sure they're sweet onion. There may be somewhat flavor. Our palate may not be able to tell the difference, but there's a couple of white ones that came up that we planted that me and Marycarl have
Are
no
they
idea.
bright white?
Yeah, they're bright white, but they're not near as big. But they're bright white.
Did you mean to plant those?
Yeah, we grew
Oh, okay.
those. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. We grew some of those.
I act like I'm from another continent, but I live here too.
But next year, I think I'm going to do some red ones.
Well, I
Red
think that's a
onions
good
are good in
idea.
a
As
salad.
successful
Yeah.
as this harvest was,
Oh, man.
and you didn't tend to them that much.
No.
You didn't have to.
I fertilized them a little bit early, and I can't remember what fertilizer I used. I had to go back and look. But I tell you what I did do to them, and it may have helped, it may not, I don't know. But you know that worm casting?
Yeah, I remember you pouring that on there one day.
I poured that on them. We got our worm bin, and then when it rains, the water filters through, and I got a 5-gallon bucket, and it catches it. And I was pouring that on this and my garlic and our potatoes too.
And I guess that would be also compost tea
Similar to compost tea, yes.
because it's coming through that compost that we
Compost
feed the worms.
And worm castings.
Yeah.
Which the worm castings should be stronger than the compost tea would be.
Yeah.
And how you know your onions are ready, you can see how this is falling over. They'll start to fall over. This gets weak right here and it'll fall over. Or the ends start dying back like that. That's when you know they're ready. I harvest these this morning, as a matter of fact. And you can eat them now. They're perfectly fine to eat them now. But you want them to cure so they preserve longer. They'll keep longer. So what you'll do is you want to check your weather. You'll make sure you got 3 or 4 or 5 days of nice, no rain in the forecast, sunny weather. Pull these suckers up and let them sit out there in the garden and dry. And you can see this papery outside protective
That's just
coating that
too
they put
cool.
on there. But
Too cool.
onions are amazing. I'm so stoked about these. I can't. I'm going to say this. 2 things I've been unable to grow successfully have been onions and carrots. And I've got carrots down pat, and it looks like I got sweet onions down pat.
You're going to need to write this down or you got it in your Rolodex.
I think I got it in my Rolodex. I've just gotten so passionate about gardening that I think I can just figure it out.
Perfect timing. How about that?
Perfect timing.
Now you have somewhere that you can grow as much
As I want.
or as little as
As
you
little
want.
as I want. 'Cause, as you know, I'm limited as to what I can grow, but I'm thankful for the size garden I got because I can grow a pretty good bit of stuff.
Well, what we did with them tonight is we just cut them into 4s and then chopped them up real small and put a little bit of oil in a skillet and let the oil get kind of hot and sauteed those onions until they had some caramelization on them.
Yes.
And Marycarl loves them.
That's one of
She will eat
Marycarl's
a
favorite
plate
food.
of onions.
It's sauteed onions.
And
she likes them almost right to the burning spot.
Don't burn them, Mama.
Don't burn them, but get them close.
Get them close. Don't burn them. Like you did my cookies the other night. Don't do them like that. I said, why do you have to bring that up? I forgot about them, okay? She ate them. She didn't complain. She ate
did eat
those
'em.
cookies. They weren't black. They were just a little charred.
That's right.
So we just we caramelized those onions and had some good butcher box flank steak.
We did.
And we made fajitas.
And they were delicious.
It was delicious. Had a lot of flavor.
Had a ton of
We
flavor.
took the was it called flank steak or skirt steak? Same thing.
I think it was flank.
And we cut it real thin against the grain.
Right.
We took a couple of teaspoons of fajita seasoning,
Uh-huh.
a tablespoon of vegetable oil, and the juice of a lime.
That lime juice totally just brightened it up. I love lime. In Mexican food,
The whole kitchen smelled like lime.
it smells so good.
So we put that in a Ziploc bag and let it marinate for about an hour or so, kind of squishing it around every now and then and moving around. And I sauteed the onions separately because sometimes Marycarl can be a little peculiar, and she might not want to eat the steak if it
Yeah.
tastes like onions or whatever. Even though she loves onions, you know how kids are.
Yep.
So I did two separate times. I had the onions ready, and that way when the meat was through marinating, we put it in the skillet, and boy, was it a good dinner.
It was delicious.
It was delicious.
Absolutely delicious.
I think
We
we'll
had
do it again.
Fresh cilantro on it.
Fresh cilantro. We both like
Avocado.
that. Avocado,
that's
salsa. Jason likes cheese on his. I don't.
It was delicious.
So, and then also today was a busy day.
It was.
It was an interesting day to say the least.
It was an interesting day to say the least.
You want to talk about it, or you want me to?
We were dead set to go to the land and pull our fence for the garden and the pigs.
We were prepared for my mother to come over and stay with Marycarl.
Yes.
Marycarl's to the age where she can occupy herself. However, my mom lives next door, and so, we like to have things in order. And so Mama was prepared to stay with her and keep her occupied. And Jason and I were going to run over to the land and pull the fence. And too, we went and met with somebody about the house. Yeah,
about some things in the house.
He used to live here locally, and we dealt with him when we built this house.
Yes.
And so
he helped us on this house big time.
He is now at another hardware store, I guess you'd call it.
Building supply store.
However, they don't supply lumber. They just supply like windows and doors and things like
siding and roofing materials.
So our plan was to go over and meet with him and talk about windows and doors.
Mm-hmm.
And then head on over to the Cog 40 and get the fence pulled. So we drove our little Honda for gas purposes to save on gas, and Jason gathered all the tools together and put them in the back of the car, and we got a cooler together with some cold water, and we go over and we talk to Brian, and we get finished, and we did have to run by Tractor Supply because we needed to pick up some gate hinges out of stock. That's okay. We can do that anytime.
Yep.
Head on over. We get in there. We realize Brooke didn't bring the key to the tractor.
And we were going to use the tractor to help us pull the fence. We got 2 come-alongs, but we were going to use it to kind of
the tractor bucket
could
kind of stabilize things. Tractor's heavy enough where it's not going to pull. And
so I decided, well, you know what? My poles are pretty steady. We'll just use the pole and pull it that way.
I was pretty upset with myself.
So I'll go to grab the chains and the come-alongs and the hammers, and then Brooke gets the toolbox out that usually has all our tools in it that we've been using for the thing. And I forgot the hammer and the wire cutters. So we had no hammer, no wire cutters, no tractor. The tractor we may could have got away with, but we can't put staples in there without a hammer.
And we couldn't cut the wire off without the wire cutters. But we had a toolbox. And we had each other.
So both of us were pretty hard and down on ourselves. And
not to each other.
Not to each other, no.
We never were ill to each other or never fussed about ourselves making a mistake. We just realized that today wasn't a good day.
It wasn't a good day.
We decided that we'd get back in the car and we'd head on back home. Now,
we could have come home, got the stuff, and went back, but that would have set us back a good, if we had timed it perfectly, an hour. That would have set us back an hour, but it was already late.
Yeah, it was getting late. So,
and then
and I had planned on cooking these wonderful fajitas tonight, so we just came on back and
I do remember us both. We were both kind of pouty because I want to get this fence done because I'm expecting the Farmer Cliff with the pigs to call us any day and say, "Hey, your pigs are ready, come get them." And I'm like, "Well, my fence ain't ready yet, man. Can you hold on to it for another?" But so we were both pouting, and I said, "You know what? There's no sense of us being upset. There's nothing we can do about it. It's water under the bridge." And so I start talking about barndominiums. Our colors and what style we wanted.
And we talked to an architect.
We did talk to an architect.
And what we have to have is not your typical, expensive, well-designed house plans. We basically need a floor plan.
Yep.
And we know what we want on the outside. We are very simple people.
Yes.
We want a very simple
something similar to this. This is the kind of design we're looking at. You know, just your simple country style home with the front porch.
Nothing fancy,
And
just
a screened-in back porch. We have wraparound porches on this house, and they never get used. So we decided we'd never do wraparound. I say never do wraparound, but we're not going to do wraparound porches again because it's an added expense that doesn't get used now. I mean, it's used for storage.
Yeah, we've got firewood on one side, and the other side is, used to travel around the house,
Yeah.
but we could easily go downstairs. Well, we won't even have stairs on this
No,
one.
this will be flat on the ground.
flat on the
It'll be
ground.
on a slab.
But when we built our first one, the priority was wraparound porch.
Wraparound porch, yeah.
We don't care what it looks like as long as it's got a wraparound porch.
That's what we wanted.
And as you grow older, your tastes changed, your important things
Yeah.
change. We
wanted a loft too.
In this house?
Yes, we didn't want a full upstairs. We wanted a loft. We wanted to look down onto the den,
Well, we got that.
and we got that. But we don't want any stairs on this one.
We don't want any stairs on this
Zero
one.
stairs.
And we also didn't think we would ever be building a house again.
No, I really, yeah. And what's funny is that I guess it's kind of, in which I'm not a female, so I don't know. So I'm kind of speaking vaguely here, but kind of like having a baby. You go through the labor of having a baby, and you're probably thinking, I'm not going to ever have another baby again. and
then it wears off.
Then it wears off, and you may want another baby.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like with this house, because I remember us both saying we'd never build another house again, or if we did, we'd pay somebody to do all of it, because
And here we are, just about in the same boat we were with this one.
Here we are. Except I will say this house got put in the drive for worse, but it was no exterior stuff done whatsoever. It was just
Oh yeah, we'll be finished. I mean, we're gonna
Yes.
feel like we're home free when this thing gets a roof on it.
right with the barndominium, the metal, the roof, all that will be done.
The floors,
The
because
floors.
we're going to do concrete floors, and then later in
Yes.
life, if we want to replace that, we
can
can.
we can put carpet on top anytime we want to.
So, I mean, the bulk of the house will be done by
Yep.
somebody else.
By somebody else. Like I think we talked, we're not going to insulate it ourselves. And I'm older now, so I kind of know what my limitations are, and
And you know what's importantly to be done right.
done correctly.
I know that's not grammatically correct,
Right.
but importantly to
Yeah.
be done right.
So I'm not going to foam it. My dad's electrician, so electrical will be taken care of.
We're not going to plumb it ourselves.
We're not going to plumb it ourselves. We're not going to do the heating in ourselves, but we're going to do, basically the interior walls.
We'll hang the cabinets
Hang the
ourselves.
cabinets.
We'll put the,
The trim work, we'll trim it out.
we'll set the vanities.
We'll paint it.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff we can do. But
Yeah. We
we're
can
not
hang
gonna-
light fixtures.
We can hang light fixtures. The electrical, I have no problem. I got a little bit of electrical experience, and my dad's been an electrician his entire life, so not worried about that.
Well,
And my whole family's electricians, but me, everybody. Aunts, uncles, brothers, cousins, nephews.
I'm not, but
My
I'll
granddaddy.
tell you this.
Yeah.
If I need to change a light out, I can.
You can do that.
I can. I know how to cut the power off, and
You do a pretty good job at that.
well, I don't want to do it without supervision
Right.
on this one, though. How about that?
That's true.
But we feel like we're a lot further along today than we were yesterday.
Yeah, because I was thinking on this house, we did all the soffits, we did the exterior siding,
Yes,
we
it
did
was
all the
just-
trim work, the columns, the decking, everything here we did. It took us a year and a half to build this house.
It did. And I feel like once we get this in the dry, which is him pouring the slab,
Yes.
erecting the metal, putting the windows and the doors on, the roof will be up,
All the soffits will
all
be
the
done.
HVAC will be done.
HVAC
the
and insulation
will be done.
Yes.
We'll have plumbing and running water.
Yes.
We'll have electricity. So it's just basically just finish work.
Finish work. Yep. So hopefully it don't take us a year and a half to do that. And if it does, it does.
It
You know, if
does.
it does.
We'll
We'll worry about that.
make ends meet
Yep.
and we'll make it work.
He said that we probably need to start thinking about getting a perk test done. And what's crazy about this is just how
It's kind of things that
planets align. This is just
fell into place.
so when I announced that I had retired or quit my job to become a full-time YouTuber, homesteader, and farmer, all my high school buddies, they were all cheering for me, and it was some I hadn't heard from in a while. They were like, "Oh my gracious, you beat the system. This is awesome." I had a buddy of mine that is a surveyor actually sent me an email, Jamie Autry at Autry Surveying, sent me an email and said, "Hey, I think that I may want to sponsor a podcast or a video or something. Give me a call." Well, just so happens we need a perk test done.
That's right. And guess who does a perk test? A surveyor.
So I've contacted him, and so, it just all worked out. It's just crazy how it just worked out.
It's just ironic that he sent an email saying that he wanted to talk to you, and then here we are today finding out the contractor says, first thing you might want to do is get a perk test. Well, there's already a septic tank there where his mobile home, the previous owner of the land's mobile home was. That's where we plan to build my mom's house. There's already a septic tank there. So it perked over there, but we still have to have a perk test where we'll build our house to make sure, because we'll have a separate septic system.
I mean, the worst case scenario is if it didn't perk. I guess, is that how you say it didn't perk?
Yeah, yes, that's right.
You had to build it up, kind of like my cousin did. His was up.
His septic tank?
Yeah. And you do it differently. So it's not the end of the world. It's not like we can't build there, but I think we'll be fine. I mean, the digging I done the other day, I think we'll be fine. There's a lot of gravel down there.
Yeah, I think
Once you get past about the 3-foot mark, it's a lot of gravel. I think we'll be fine. No issues at all.
And then the second thing that he said that we needed to take care of was windows and doors. And he said in order for him to trim out the windows and doors, which would be included in his erection of the building, he would have to have the windows and doors on site.
Yes, because he installs them.
That the window and door leeway, due to COVID, you nasty virus, is about 8 weeks. And so that led us to Brian, who is the building supply store guy. And I had already talked to him previously because he helped us with this house, and I just enjoyed working with him. He's very knowledgeable. And so I'd already contacted him about, meeting with us at some point. However, that happened today. Happened today. So even though we didn't get our fence pulled, we got something accomplished.
We did get something accomplished. We did. It wasn't what we probably set out to do today or, coming into this week, but we did get something accomplished.
Well, I'm feeling like we've covered a lot of ground in the last couple of weeks or so.
Yes.
I feel like 100%. We're a lot further along than what we were this time last week. And I'm thinking that we're going to go ahead with this.
Yeah. I don't know how much, it's not like they're going to start in a couple of weeks.
No, he's 8 weeks out. The contractor's 8 weeks out. We've got to have windows ordered. This metal company, it takes time for them to cut it.
I think Brian said windows were 12 to possibly 12 weeks out.
Is that right? On a single hung white window?
I think so. I think that's what he said, around 12 weeks on those.
So, I mean, there's things that we know that we need to go ahead and take care of if we plan to build this year.
Right.
And that's saying, I mean, this year, there's a lot of time left, but you've got to be prepared. And without these things being prepared in advance, it ain't going to happen.
No.
So I don't know when we're going to get this wire pulled, but I'm not worried about it.
No, I'm not worried about it. Just if Farmer Cliff calls and says,
then you're going to be, I won't tell him. I won't tell you that he called.
Because I am. I'm going to freak out because... Well, I don't know.
He's got them caught. He told us this weekend because our date to pick him up was supposed to be this past weekend. Right. However, he was having some fencing issues that he needed to take care of on his end. I said, hey, we're not in any hurry. We're not in any hurry. We didn't tell him we don't have a fence up yet, but we're not in any hurry.
Look, our original plan was, and I got it set up, we got a large dog kennel, and then I got electric poultry netting around it. We're going to put them there and let them walk around. And then we started thinking, because this is kind of going a little bit further,
But why did we get to thinking this?
Well, because number one, he said that he picked out 2 of the largest males he had, because the processors want some in January.
Yeah, 1st of January.
Yeah. So we got that.
And he said that it took a couple of guys to move them, to catch them and move them. I don't see Jason and myself picking up a 70-pound pig. I don't know how much they weigh, but I knew it took 2 men. And a squealing pig plus squirming.
Yes.
With
it's not
2
fun.
people, one of them being female, is not going to go over real well.
Well, we were thinking that they're going to be a little bit smaller.
Yeah, I was thinking they could go in a dog kennel in the back of the truck and ride home, both of them.
And then in a week, they stand there about a week is what we were thinking.
Yeah.
We could load them back up and take them out to the new farm.
But now the more that we got to thinking about it,
Yes.
we're going to have to, if they stay here a week, we're going to have to pick those big guys up and move them again.
Right.
And I just don't see how we can do it.
I don't see how we can do it either. And that's why we started talking. We're like, you know what? It may be best to go and take them out to the new farm.
Plus, we're in the process of putting the garden fence up. So our plan is to put that garden fence on up, which is what we were talking about pulling the fence to today. And then we will put electric wire on the inside of that to contain them.
Let me show you what I'm going to do too. Hang on.
So it'll be like a 2-in-1 system. If they get out of that hot wire area, then they will be in the garden fence area. And I don't see how in the world they could ever get out of both of them.
I got to give a shout out to our friends at Heart and Soul Homestead. Awesome people. They sent me a message and asked me, did I have Joel Salatin's new book? And I said, I do not. But I said, I do not. I think that's all I said.
Yeah, because I read it and made sure you responded.
That I wanted to get the book because it's about farm infrastructure.
And you told me you didn't think it was out yet.
And so they sent me a message back and said, hey, look, we bought the book, but our farm is really too small for us to do anything that's in the book. We would love to give it to you as a gift. And it was
like 2 days later, here it was.
Oh, gosh, yes. 2 days later, here it is. This is the book. This thing is massive. And what's in it
up a little bit
is nothing but plans. Y'all, it's just plans after plans after plans after plans. There's nothing in here, no reading here, or, this is just straight to the point plans. Well, in the pig section, he talks about how he does his electric fence system, in which makes total sense because we only got 2 pigs and we're going to be on 1.25 acres. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but see how he's got the electric fence in sections right there? So when they get through one section, tilling it up, then we can move them to another paddock. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to follow Joel's recommendations in there. And thanks to Heart and Soul for sending that to me, or I probably never would have come up with that. I'd probably just turn them loose in the whole.
Well, that was the initial thought, is we would just give them that whole 1.25 acres, and they will be so much better if we can let them work one area, then turn them loose in another area.
Exactly. And then when it was time to catch them, it'd be a lot easier to catch them, too.
Heck yeah. And plus that, they're going to become more, tame to us.
For us seeing us,
they're not going to run
from
us.
Right.
They're going to be right there. They're going to know that we're their caretakers.
Right.
And,
they're not ever going to be super friendly, because we've had pigs before in the past. I mean, these are not going to be pets like Peaches.
That's right.
These are going to be, working hogs out there in the field, tilling up and doing their job. So they're not going to be, we're not going to put tutus on them and hats and stuff.
You don't think?
No.
We're not painting their toenails?
No, we're not painting their toenails.
I still remember Marycarl painting Peaches' toenails when Marycarl was little and Peaches was little too.
Oh,
and
gosh.
Peaches' little hooves just sat there where Marycarl painted her.
You could paint them now.
Toes. Yeah,
Peaches
you could
wouldn't
paint
care.
them.
She would not care one bit.
Well, I must say that you did a wonderful job on putting the post in the ground and bracing them. Oh, this was another thing, I must say.
About the post today?
So we've decided that we're just going to hook the come along to the fence post that's already there.
And I had a small hammer. It wasn't a full-size hammer. It was a small hammer.
I asked him when we got there. Jason, did you bring a hammer? He said, yeah, I got one in my pocket. And I said,
one.
A hammer in your pocket? He said, yeah, I got a small hammer in my pocket. He kept on walking. And I was like, how does he have a small hammer in his... And now I know that he didn't want to tell me he forgot the hammer.
I didn't want to tell her at the time.
What was the small hammer anyway?
It's just a little hammer.
Where did you get it?
I got it out of the, it was in a toolbox.
Where did the hammer?
I don't know.
It's
in a little pouch.
To see it.
It's in the toolbox in the car. I'll just show it to you. have to show it to you.
It's in my pocket.
But it's a little bit hammer.
And I'm seeing.
And I had a crowbar too, and I thought I could at least hammer a nail with a crowbar.
I saw you walking, and you never turned around. It's in my pocket, and I thought, if he's got a hammer in his pocket, I would see it. So I get all the way down to the end where he has rolled this big giant. I'm sorry.
A roll of wire.
He rolled the wire all the way to the beginning where we're going to get started, and he's fixing to twist the wire because we didn't have any wire cutters to get it undone.
And we got an H post set up, and that's what we did. It's called H post, and most know what I'm talking about.
I'm not laughing at you.
Oh
by the
no,
way.
no! You trust me, it's funny. So this is my first time ever building I don't want to say professional. I guess it is professional looking fence, but we've never done we never had a fence this big for one.
Well, we always just put posts in the ground,
Concrete it and pull it.
Our corner post would just be a post, and we wondered why our fence would sag over time, and that's why.
So we did it correctly. I watched a ton of videos, and I found one guy that I absolutely loved the way he did it because it was so easy. No tools, special tools, or nothing. He just took. If you don't know what an H post is, it looks like the letter H, right? And this goes in your corners or where your gates are. And so you have two posts here, and then you have a post in the middle like the letter H. And then you take a wire from the bottom corner of one to the top of the corner of the other one, and you get that wire really tight, and that makes it very, very steady, extremely steady. Well, they make all these tools and stuff to do it with, but what this guy did was he took a piece of 2-foot rebar, stuck it in between the wire, and he just twisted the wire until they got real tight, and then he let it rest up against that bar coming across and put a staple through it so it'd be safe. And it worked perfectly.
Well, especially since we had rebar laying around our house.
Yes, a bunch of rebar.
So you cut it here, so we have it in 2-foot sections, and we got those all cut and braced, and it was a long day. When was it? Sunday?
It was Sunday, and all these videos are coming out, so y'all see all this in the vlog.
And so I'm making my way over to help Jason stand the roll of wire up so we can use the little hammer to staple the wire on. And he's just standing there. He's just staring. And I see that the wire's like this instead of like this.
I
said, what happened?
Decided that I thought it wasn't tight enough. So I took loose the staple, and I went around one more time with the rebar, and evidently it was plenty tight because the wire broke.
The wire
and
broke.
This is wire that you use, and it's 4 strands because I went around it twice. So it's 4 strands of wire. And evidently we had it tight to start with, and it broke. And I think that was a sign
that today was not the day.
Y'all do not need to be working on this fence today. You don't have the right tools. There's going to be problems if you do.
But I will say this. 5 years ago, probably less than that, we would have been so perturbed and so fussy at ourselves for forgetting the tools.
Yes.
And just, if you can't do anything about it, then why dwell on it?
That's right.
Just forget it.
Just
this
go on
day
about your
is
business.
over.
It's over with.
I mean, yes, we had not a babysitter, but we had plans for Marycarl to stay home because it was hot outside and she had the teeth extracted and we wanted her to stay here, and that was all lined up, and that doesn't happen very often. Y'all know that most of the time she's with us. If she's not with us, she's with her friend Piper. And so, I mean, we felt like today was the day to make it happen. And then here, all this stuff happened. But if it's not anything you can do to fix it, then just forget about it.
Yeah, and I think that's what that wire was telling me.
I think so too, because
it's like,
when I asked you what happened, and you said, I thought it needed to be tighter.
I did.
And I said, well, I almost told you that I don't think you need to turn that wire anymore. But we kind of laughed about it even there. I mean,
we did.
We were upset that we couldn't get it done, but it wasn't the expectation that you would think when our day wasn't going right.
It wasn't, yeah. And you're right. There's nothing you can do about it. And I find myself doing it a lot more now, a whole lot more now. And maybe more so since, I quit the job. Maybe I'm not pushed to try to do everything in 2 days either.
Well, I'll tell you that you're the reason that I have changed my tune about if you can't go backwards and there's nothing you can do about it, then just forget it.
Just forget it. Just and then you can do about it. Just
And
keep
without
on going.
you stressing that to me all the time, then I probably would have said, if I hadn't forgotten that tractor key, then all the rest of it would have been okay. I could have kept kicking myself, and no point.
It's no point.
No point. Nothing we could do at that point.
Nothing. But I'm glad the wire broke because we'd probably still be there at 8
And
o'clock.
we wouldn't have ate those good onions.
Wouldn't ate the good onions or those awesome fajitas.
Or the awesome fajitas. And I did cut Marycarl's up into little bites, and she said it looked like she was eating sushi. The meat was fully cooked. But you know how they make those little fish rolls,
Yeah, I
I
know
guess
what
it
you're
is?
talking
I've
about.
never
We
eaten
never
sushi,
eat
so
sushi.
y'all don't. We're from
Only sushi we ever seen is in a gas station.
In a gas station?
A gas station sushi.
Oh, my.
In the little cooler.
Well,
By the
Marycarl's seen it
sandwiches.
somewhere because she sure thought her food looked like sushi. I cut it up
me.
real small because she's got these big gaps right here, and she was able to eat it and enjoy it, but
She was. And she's already asked me, can we watch TV tonight? So I would have missed that too.
yeah, and you told her that you think that we'll be done with this pretty quick, so thought there'd be enough hours in the day to watch TV.
Yeah. Oh, well.
I can look at barn dominiums and get some ideas, and
Me and her can watch TV, right?
that's right. When do you think we're going to pull this fence anyway?
Well, I wasn't going to tell you my idea because you'll say, no, you're not. You're not going to do it. But I thought about waking up early in the morning
Oh, here we go.
and going down there by myself and pulling it myself.
If you do, don't drive the little car because it doesn't have a tractor key in it.
But I did think about that because the videos I watched, it was just a guy by himself.
It's not going to take that long to pull it.
And they pulled it by themselves.
I even suggested that when we're on the way to pick the pigs up, we stop and pull
I
the
don't want because I
wire.
want to get the electric fence set up too
Yeah,
for
but
them.
well, you said that wasn't going to take long.
It shouldn't take long, but I mean, still probably 30 minutes. Still, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And 30 minutes turns into 45 minutes. But it is what it is.
Well, I don't think you're going to go over there in the morning before.
I've already told you my plans, so I probably won't now.
Yeah, it was. Well, if I woke up and you had a note and said
I
I'm
would've
gone
said
to
a note.
work, then I probably would have.
I would have said a note. I would have said, I didn't do the chores this morning. Y'all handle that. I'm going to pull the fence.
We got plenty of hours left in the day.
I keep thinking, Farmer Cliff, if you're watching this, we ain't got the pig fence pulled yet, buddy. So take your time on cutting the pigs.
That's right.
Okay? We ain't no hurry.
Well, he said-
and we'll pay extra for the amount of feed, the extra feed you done fed.
He said, y'all are the ones that's got to drive. And I was thinking, we the ones that ain't got the fence up either.
Yeah. We've had to change plans, Farmer Cliff. Had to change the plans, buddy.
We had to change the plans. We don't think we can pick those big boys up.
I really don't. I really, really don't. I start thinking I can call my buddy Wes from the Naked Hall to come over and help me with them.
Well, it'd probably take the horse trailer. And the horse trailer's got the
Got all
goat
the
hay
hay in it.
stored in it. And, I mean, we'd have
And
to
I'm going to tell
empty.
you something. If you take that hay out of that horse trailer,
You ain't going to get it back in.
Well, not only that, you're going to have to talk to Tucker about it because
Oh.
Tucker's got where she loves sleeping in that horse trailer.
Marycarl told me that she had a bed in there.
She's got her bed in there. If y'all, I've been trying to post a lot, so if y'all been keeping up with us, and I'm posting everywhere, you can look on Instagram stories, Facebook stories, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm everywhere, and I posted one today of Tucker in her. I eased it open so she wouldn't wake up.
Tucker's our cat. She's our black
barn
cat. One of the black barn
One
cats.
of them, yeah.
The other one, she stays down
I
in a
saw
hole
Pink
most of her
Pink
time.
today.
When we do see her, she's all about giving us some love.
Yes.
But if you go down there right now, you're going to see her.
Yeah,
It's
'cause she's
dark.
nocturnal. Pink is 100% nocturnal.
But if you try to, I don't care how many times you call her during the middle of the day, she's not coming.
she's not coming.
We don't. I guess she's in that hole by the tree.
Who knows where she is? But yeah.
Well, the next time that we go over to the land, I can guarantee you we're gonna have a better day. And I had a notebook with all the things written down in it.
And
that
you
we
didn't have
needed,
hammer wire cutters on there,
that
though.
we needed to take with us. I looked at it when I got back.
There's no hammer
Jason
wire
walked
cutter.
over there and he said, "There's not a hammer and there's not wire cutters written on that piece of paper." And I thought, well, the list is still sitting here on the counter, so it wouldn't have done a lot of good either.
The tractor key wasn't on there either, was it?
No, it wasn't.
You know, it never crossed my mind because I'm so used to us having the hammer. I mean, and I'm going to tell you why. So I cleaned the shop up. So I've been home, so I've been doing a lot of stuff around here. And so the shop needed to be organized. I cleaned, and the shop looks amazing. And so I've been told everybody here, look, when we get through with something, we're going to put it back. The shop looks awesome. You know, it's organized. It's been so nice. And so that's what I did. And
you put the wire cutters back up.
I put the wire cutters back up. I put the hammer back up because it was in the truck. And that's what we've been driving. And we had a little toolbox. And I put it all back up. Never crossed my mind that I put it up. I thought it was still in the toolbox.
He's got a little hammer.
He's got a little hammer. It's your hammer.
I have never seen a little hammer.
It says mossy oak on it. It's got a hatchet on one end and a hammer on the other.
That's Marycarl's hammer.
Well,
we bought that thing at Tractor Supply because it's got a little sheath that goes with it. Yeah, that's hers.
Okay. That's what I was gonna
you
use
better put it back because she probably knows right where it is. That's the little hammer.
Yeah. It's got a hammer on one end.
It's like a hatchet.
Well, it's got a hatchet on one end in case we know we were able to cut some wood we could have today too.
Well, I'm thinking, I told Jason on the way home that I'm thinking we probably need to put a toolbox in, I mean like a tool chest at the new farm and keep, we've got 2 of every tool because we lost them at one point or another and then found the other one.
At least a hammer, probably a pair of pliers, maybe even a cheap socket set we could put down there. You know, if something happened, we could get us by.
Yeah.
Just a little general everything. You don't have to be nothing expensive. We could go buy on sale just something. If we forgot something, we would have it back up or something.
Well, at least we met with Brian because we did get something accomplished.
We did.
It wasn't like and Marycarl wouldn't have wanted to do that.
No.
You know, he talked to us a good little while.
We were there for at least an hour.
Yeah, and we were talking business, and no 11-year-old wants to sit there and. Are we ready to go yet?
Mm-hmm.
Are we ready?
She wouldn't.
I mean, she does pretty good, but for the most part, any kid would be.
I will say this about her though, Marycarl is a good rider.
Oh, she rides good.
She is awesome,
and that has changed within this past year. You know it.
She's been pretty good for the last couple of years, but she used to be your typical kid, which is.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
How much longer? She's not like that no more.
She says this trip goes by so quick. Most of the time when we get somewhere,
she is a good rider.
And that's good because we're going to the Homestead conference and we're driving.
We are going to Homestead conference. We just bought tickets. We have been debating on it because, number one, I didn't know if I had to work. And then, so, you know, now that, you know.
This will be a big trip for us because I can't name 3 or 4 states that I've visited over my life.
I know, it's going to be a big trip. I mean, talking about not knowing earlier is I even turned down a speaking part at the conference through Hoff's Tools, and because I didn't know if I can make it or not, but
we're going.
But we're gonna go. We're going, and I'm gonna tell you the main reason that we're going is for the fans. We have so many fans saying, "Hey, are y'all going? We love to meet you guys," and
we're going.
We're going. So if some of you guys are going, we should be there. If the creek don't wise and the good Lord's willing.
And we're going to have our tiny hammer with us, but we're going.
But we're all going road tripping. Marycarl's excited about road tripping.
She is. When you said that we go through Kentucky to get there, our first thought was Mammoth Cave.
And I think we're going to be close to it.
We are going to be close to it. So hopefully we can see some sights and.
I think so. I mean, I think we'll hire somebody to take care of everything, and we won't be in no super hurry to get back.
That's right.
We'll kind of sightsee stuff.
Who knows? We might be at the new farm by then. That's October.
That's true. Yeah. Who knows?
I mean, we're working on animal pens. We're working on places for our animals to stay. We're going to have all our ducks in a row for our animals.
Yes.
As we go along. So, some people might say you're buying the buggy before the horse, or how does that go?
I just don't know. Horse before the cart.
Yeah, something like that. But we've got to plan for our animals because they're all going with us, and we
got to plan for the animals. So
we're working on that. That's what this garden fence is about. You know, we're going to get it put up, and if we had to, we won't have a garden in there after January. we could use that fence for something else.
Oh, the goats could go in there.
I mean, if we have to, if we get ready to move and things fall into place, lumber goes down, who knows? I mean, we can be prepared. We're going to have a good fence, that's for sure.
Yeah, and my confidence is up because I never built a fence like this before, and I'm pretty sure I can do it again.
And you can put a mean carburetor in an auger.
I can put a mean carburetor in an auger. I've got my confidence level is growing on small engine stuff. We had, of course, you guys know about the log splitter that we got that hadn't ran in years, and I put a carburetor in it, and it works perfectly. And we had an auger that we haven't used since I built Marycarl's horse fence.
That was when she was 2 and she's 11, so 9 years it's been sitting up, not running.
And it didn't hardly run good then either.
And Jason took it to the dealership that he worked at because some of those guys are familiar with small machines, and they never had time to mess with it.
Yeah, they never did.
So when Jason retired, as I call it, he brought the auger back home with us, and it's been sitting in our shop. And I said, hey, Jason, since you fixed that log splitter, if I order a carburetor for this auger, do you think it might fix it? See how much they cost? $13-15. I ordered a kit, and this man right here, he got it going.
I did, and it was a little more
on
work.
The second pull every time.
Yeah,
second pull cranks right up.
It did. It worked well. We needed it out there.
We did. It really came in handy.
So much so.
And some people said that we need one of those for the tractor or whatever. Well, we saw or we read that it doesn't work as well as what you think it does
because there's no weight. Because
to
push it down, that's the big problem with it. It's a free swinging arm, and there's no weight to push it down. I've heard people where they even strap weights on the top of it or something that they did.
But the auger that we have now is working well, so I say we just continue with what we've got.
I would think. Well, the rope broke on it, but we're going to fix that.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And it's got a leaking gas tank. We probably need to order a gas tank too.
I'll do that while y'all watch TV. How's about that?
That'll work.
And I'll go get a hammer and put it in that tool pouch. A full-size hammer.
And some wire cutters.
I bet you somebody's going to send us a hammer and some wire cutters.
Oh, man, I bet so. I had a fan, and gosh, I wish I remember his name, sent me, I'm talking about because he saw that I love squares. You know, it's a triangle, but they call it a square, how you square stuff up. And I do. And Brooke always made fun of me because I love that speed square because I can draw a straight line. I could cut straight lines.
I think it's ridiculous.
And she was like, you don't need it. And so
I just,
this awesome guy sent me a box full of them. I'm talking about, I bet I got 30
50 squares.
All different sizes. And it's just awesome. Matter of
fact,
I hung them all up today.
Did you?
Yes.
It's going to come in handy, that's for sure.
It is.
You got a lot of squaring to do in your future.
I do.
That's right. All right. Well, I think we covered all of our bases, and who knows what'll come next.
I think so, too.
Y'all going to go watch some TV?
We're going to go watch some TV. I don't know what she wants to watch. We watched Back to the Future, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. And boy, me and her was laughing so hard.
I'm trying to think what she told me. She told me something about it. I mean, I was in the house when y'all were watching it, but I'm always
laughing. Oh, we was cutting up now.
She had to tell me about the movie. And I was like, acting like I'd never seen it. Yeah, I never seen it. I've seen it a million times.
Yeah. So Back to the Future 2 is on there too. So we may check that out. I don't know.
I don't know if you're going to do that tonight.
Oh, it's 8:15 p.m. now. So we may have to find a little show.
Central time.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well,
guys, I hope y'all have an awesome day, an awesome week. And remember, if things don't go your way, don't worry about it.
Go grow you some onions.
Go grow you some onions. Y'all be good.